And I'll call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place, St. George. Good evening and welcome to the June 2024 regular council meeting for Eastern Charlotte Council. This is our 18th official council meeting for Eastern Charlotte, and there's 23 more to go until the end of this council's term. I welcome all those that are attending here tonight and those that are watching on television or on their cell phones. I want to welcome CHCO for being here tonight, and Florence Mitchell is in the back doing the switching, I guess. And on the camera tonight, we have Ian Curran with the CHCO, and thank you very much for being here tonight, Ian. And if anybody doesn't know Ian's probably one of the top bagpipers in Charlotte County. So if you need a bagpiper, here's your guy. In attendance tonight, we have Chris McKinnon, and we have of course, our CEO, Jason Gaudette. I will, at this point, would look for a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight. I need a motion by Councillor McQuarrie. Seconder for that would be Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of adopting the agenda as that is in front of you tonight signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Conflict of interest is that your chance to declare that? Anybody wants to do that? No, I saw Councillor Hatt move that. Councillor Hatt removed his hat. There we go. 4 is adoption of minutes of the previous council meetings. Oh, just a reminder, Councillor McKay is out ill tonight, so she can't be with us tonight. 4A is May the 15th regular meeting of council. I would need a motion to adopt the minutes for that meeting for May 15th. Councillor Tidd. And seconded by Councillor Thompson. Great. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to 4B, May 21st, 2024 closed meeting of council. I need a motion to adopt those minutes. Councillor Lee, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 4C is the June 11th meeting of council. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of June 11th. Councillor McQuarrie. Seconder would be Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I get them all. For C5, business arising out of the minutes, there are none tonight. And for delegations tonight, we have Lorraine Justison. Lorraine, it's great to have you here tonight. I'm going to ask you to come right up to the microphone. And anybody that doesn't know Lorraine, you will after tonight, because she has a lot of energy, and she has quite a project here to tell us all about. So Lorraine, you've got the camera right on you, and it's all yours. Thank you.
I'm looking for support on one community wheelchair bus. That's for all the community for the regional, from Maces Bay, Musquash, right through to Campobello Island. I'm trying to get everybody's support on this because we need it for the seniors, for the disabled, and for the children, for school, basketball, sports, whatever. Everybody's included in this. Nobody's left out of this bus. We're trying to get it so everybody can enjoy themselves, get out and socialize. There's no way anybody can get out nowadays. Disabled kids can't go and watch their friends play basketball. Seniors can't get out of their nursing homes because there's no vehicle around. There's no vehicles for anybody that's in a wheelchair or disabled. So as you for to see, I passed out some pictures of a bus that's similar to what I am trying to get. That bus has you can put 2 wheelchairs onto it, plus 17 passengers. The one that I am looking at, it will take 2 wheelchairs too, plus 19 passengers. So yes, we need it in this community. We need it all over. There's nothing. Even Campobello says they can't go anywhere. Their residents in the nursing home, they can't go anywhere because there is nothing. Same as Penfield. I have a lot of support right now, and I have letters of support. But people need this. So I am going around from community to community and asking for their support. That's why I'm here tonight talking to you fellas. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me and I'll answer them.
Thank you very much, Lorraine, and I appreciate your energy for this worthwhile project. I'm going to turn this over to council at this point for questions or comments on this. Yeah. Councillor Hatt, you're first.
How many communities are you looking to join in on?
Well, I'm looking for all of them. From Musquash, I've been talking to Denny Caldwell up there, right to Campobello Island. I know one bus isn't going to do that, I know. But to start out with one bus, then we can get more. But yeah, I'm asking for all the communities. I have meetings everywhere and asking for the support of all of them. And right now, I have a lot.
Any other questions or comments on this? Nope. Maybe I'll ask a couple questions just so that way you can get some more information of the price of the bus in question.
Well, the bus
do you wanna
right
talk
now
about-
that's in Moncton
Right.
is $95,000.
Mhm.
It's a 2016. It has 75,000 kilometers onto it. It's in good shape.
Right, good.
I know it will last for a while. And then, Ray, I have it planned, or I've been talking to Raymond Funk and stuff, different people. But the way we have it planned, we rent the bus out each day. So that way the bus is always on the road. Then we turn around, we charge so much a kilometer and so much a person. So that helps out for the gas when we go. We put a fund out. There's a fund for the municipality. The money that we have, we put so much into a fund, that's to keep the upkeep of the bus. And we have another fund so that we can try to save money for a newer one. So this is the way that we're trying to do it. Because if the bus sits, it's not making money. And right now, we need a bus that will, and everybody need it. They can use the bus every day, I'm told. So this way here, it will help out.
Great. And the next question or comment, I should say, is that Macadam, maybe you want to expand a little bit more on Macadam, and they've already got this project.
Oh,
and,
yes,
maybe-
McAdams had
yeah.
this project for a while now. They even got, they go around every week. They're going out. Every day the bus is being used for school projects, basketball, sports, everything. Every day that bus is on the road. And they're able to make a profit onto it. And now they're getting 2 more buses. So it helps out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we are trying to do here.
Anything else from Council Dedirak?
Thanks, Lorraine. Just wondering, so do you have a board, or are you the lead crusader for this issue?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm with the Granite Town Seniors, but I'm the leader of it because I'm the one that woke up in the middle of the night saying something tells me we need a community wheelchair bus.
Yeah.
So I called the president, and he said, well, yeah, we do. But he said, Howard, never mind. He said, I know what's going to happen. You're after it. So
And a follow-up question is, how much, do you know how, like, maybe this is private or it's confidential, but how much money have you raised so far?
right now, I'm not looking for money right now, funding. I want the community behind me.
Okay.
Then, once I get everybody behind me, then I can go ahead to all the mayors and everybody, and then go get the funding, because I have people that will help me out with funding, but I don't want it right now till I make sure, because there's no sense in me doing it if no one's gonna go behind me.
Perfect.
I'll just expand a little bit more on that as well. I was to one of the meetings that you held, and I was quite open about that. I said that at this point, this council doesn't really have any money budgeted for this.
That's right.
And we appreciate that you're coming early, because budget deliberations will be starting in probably October for this council, and so it's good that, I mean, that's not too far away.
No.
So for next year, I'm glad you are getting this started, and the other communities will hopefully get on board. It sounds like very positive from the other communities that
Oh,
we
yes.
all work together, I guess, is a great thing.
Yes, I have great positive from St. Andrews and from Musquash, Maces Bay, up there. Everywhere I've been, they're all say, we need this.
Absolutely. Council, any more you'd like to add to this? Yeah, Councillor Hatt, you're next.
Do you have an idea of what operating budget would be for a year to run that?
Not right now, I don't know. But once I get everything figured out, then we will know. Because Raymond Font and I, we're going to be sitting down and discussing about the prices and everything. For,
With McAdam, if we had any estimates of what we'd be looking for operating budgets.
no, I never asked Ken Sanic about it right now, because I'm just interested, just starting, and I'm just more or less doing the groundwork right now. And once I get everything figured out, then I will come back to you for this and discuss it again with you.
Good. Any other questions from council? If not, thank you very much for coming in today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. Council, next is the department reports, and we have the general government report and our CAO, Jason Gadet.
Thank you, Your Worship. The general government report for the month of May 2024, finance, it will commence at the end of this month for June. Mark Porter and finance team completing year-end reconciliations. Employee and personnel ongoing union negotiations with the first meeting already been completed. The municipality received 5 summer students out of the 8 positions of previous years, and just going through and filling those 5 positions now. Housing and development, 2 RFPs being awarded for building and housing in Black Harbour. Development agreement with Project Village in Inc. was signed for Black Harbour project. 2 additional development agreements for apartments are pending, one for St. George and one for Black Harbour. Building permit active for Habitat for Humanity House. I don't think we've just heard anything. I know it's active, but I don't think we've heard actually anything back on a construction date as of yet. So, Parks and Recreation grad banners, they went up in St. George with help of our Public Works and a lot of the parent committee with the graduation staff with the students. After a couple of issues with the splash pad on startup, it's functional and working now. Certainly a lot of people out there today with the temperature and what it is. And Canal Beach is open for the season. Improvements were made to the step or wall at Canal Beach, which was pointed out when the project was first finished, and there's a bit of a deficiency in that step. And the canteen operator has committed some hours and a menu for this season as well. Repairs to the baseball dugouts are still pending. They keep bumping us up here, and we hope to get those completed as soon as possible. Water for Black Harbour, turbidity meter was installed at the farm reservoir, and should be by the end of this week. We should have that fully online. There's some tweaking of the system. Of the gauge. Discussion with water owner on possible repairs to transmission line. I also completed another water discussion with the water owner on Monday. Engineering company re-engaged on the IBA water planning for Black Harbour, EIAs, and the consultation documents were filed with the province. Water for St. George flushing was completed in the St. George. We may start another smaller flushing in along the Latite Road. The IBA project's ongoing, and a new well for the new well development and new lagoon study. Engineer has submitted EIA documents and consultation forms a while back. Roads patch work continues in St. George. Crosswalk lining is taking place this week in both communities. We did have some issues with the paint machine. I think that's gone back down to Black Harbour to finish up Black Harbour, and we'll get the crosswalk lining done as soon as possible. On agenda for 2024 is resurfacing of the Arena Street and Manor Road, as well as patchwork for the patch for Riverview Avenue. Childcare, YMCA moving ahead with Dillon, preliminary study on childcare building with on-site survey at J.O. Spinney is scheduled for this week, and they're scheduling another follow-up meeting at the 1st of July with the YMCA, Dillon. EMO municipal will be set up in several spots this summer to get residents set up on the Voyant alert system. So we'll have some staff out at places like LeBlanc's Grocer, Uncle Main's, Stewart's in Penfield, and probably Hooper's in Black Harbour. Just trying to arrange location for that, and setting people up with the Voyant alert system. So that's a system that would alert you for any type of interruptions to traffic, or even major events such as wildfires or evacuations and power outages. Cooperative work with municipalities, work with St. Andrews, St. Stephen on shared economic development person, and we just set another date for that to happen in 2 weeks. Working on guidelines and structure of this new agreement. Also discussions among municipalities on cooperative garbage collection and animal control. Recycling, continue to work with Circular Materials with their takeover of recycling in Brunswick, and discussion of local recycle redemption centers to be added to their list so that they can be brought on board. And that's the general government report.
Great, thank you, Jason. Just to add to that, we've got a great public works crew in Black Harbour, and St. George, Ron Groom and Ricky Levitt, and all the guys underneath them are doing a great job. Right now, they are so busy trying to keep up. The summer weather came onto us really quick, so that all the beach areas and the splash pads and thing going on, plus watering plants and testing water, benches, putting benches out in place and putting the lines on the road. That's a big thing. I know Black Cyber working diligently today, so the guys are really doing a great job, and it's hard for them to keep up. And I know between now and next week, sometime they'll have to get the Canadian flags up, making sure that they're out there. So that's going to be a big thing this year as well. So we want to make sure that things are being done, and they are being done. But they just have to bear with them. The guys are really, really working hard, and we're very, very lucky to have such a great crew. I'll turn this over to any questions or comments on Jason's, Councillor Delegations.
Your Worship, I have a question for our CAO. For the item for childcare, Jason, do you have an idea of when this study would be completed?
I know the YMCA has encouraged them to speed up the timeline. I think originally they were saying September, but the Y, said to them that they've been waiting for quite a while, so that was stepped up. They wanted to do sort of a bit of a release of their preliminary study. They originally thought of doing something this week, but just schedules just couldn't work out. So they did release something late today. I'll check that, and maybe that's something that we can get all of council to come to. I think it'd be very interesting. So Dylan has completed their on-site assessment of Geospiny and how that will work. So I haven't really seen anything more than a few emails, and they seem very favorable. So I'll look at that, and we come back to council and let them know of that date that's coming up.
Any other questions or comments on this report? If not, we'll move on to the 7B, the reports of the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission, and we have Alex Henderson here tonight.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we met with the council here to talk about the building bylaw this past month. And per council's directive, we helped draft a policy for when and where you might consider a building permit refund to deal with the fees associated with certain types of developments. We also have met with the Department of Agriculture and with Public Safety. And so this was actually a really productive conversation. We looked at how building inspectors might apply the Fire Code of Canada, and Department of Agriculture essentially also kind of promoted the idea of maybe there needs to be some consideration for exemptions for certain kinds of greenhouse structures. So it was a productive conversation, as I said, and there may be more that comes out of that. So stay tuned. And basically, I guess for our response is we're looking at how to be reasonable and fair in the application of code, and using farm code can be a very good alternative solution for farm buildings. So with that, we also have several rezonings or rural plan amendments recommended for Black's Harbor rural plan. So some are in your package tonight. Also, PRAC has recommended a public street layout with Mill Street and Black's Harbor. So council could move to the next step and assent to the creation of Mill Street. PRAC is also considering a variance for a proposed new contractor's yard in Penfield and a private access subdivision off Route 780 in Utopia. So that's going to be considered tomorrow night, actually. Moving on to development. To date, there's been 38 building or development permits issued, 2.6 million in construction value, and 6 variances, 10 subdivisions with 11 new building lots, 11 zoning confirmations, and 7 net new dwelling units created to date. We have a number of enforcement files that are open still, and we'll be continuing to work on closing those this year. So with that, I conclude my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Alex. I'm going to turn this over to council at this point for any questions or comments.
Your Worship, there, just to add a couple things, just for terms with council. Just with the public streets with Mill Street and Black's Harbor, we also have another street here in St. George, Birch Lane, and then a 3rd Street in Blacks Harbor Mountain Court. So all these are streets that are owned by the municipality. However, we do have to bring these to council for council's assent to making these actual public streets. They've been public streets, and in the case of Mill Street, for 40-some years. However, we just acquired that property last year from Condos Brothers, and in order to put it into actual public streets, we have to have assent from council with these. So it does, sometimes in the case of like Mountain Court, not really a big issue because there's been no development on those streets. But when you look at Mill Street and the RFP that we just approved, and even with Birch Lane, with some of the upcoming builds that are going on down there, it does become an issue with Service New Brunswick when they're looking to ensure that there's actually an accessible public street. So those public streets will come to council, and very likely, I believe, we looked at it today, July's meeting. So just give some background on that.
Great. Councilor Thompson, you had a question?
You do a package and you send it to Jason, right? So are the variances in that every month?
So in the report that council can access, so yeah, well, every month when we do our report, we'll also attach a spreadsheet with all the different variances that have been approved. So if they're really, really minor variances, sometimes the development officer has the power to approve it administratively in-house. So there may be, so you have 6 variances to date. So those might be some very minor adjustments where 2 property owners agree to the variance. But some are more significant in scope, like the one tomorrow night's pretty significant. So there's a public consultation, it has to be reviewed carefully, and that's a PRAC kind of decision because that's where it's a public general notice.
We've asked as council several times since last May to have variances put into our packet. We've never really received them until this month, and when I printed it off, it was 13 pages.
Yeah, it's just,
There's little stuff there, like the fence lines, doorsteps, but what I was looking at was from January to March, there was variances for a Fundy Bay rural plan adjustment. Like, that would have been nice to have when I was sitting in front of Pratt. Like, we need to have all the information all the time. I don't know where the holdup is, but we need to have it.
yeah. No, that is in the Excel spreadsheet. One thing, like the format, if you print it, it doesn't work so great. So another option we could consider is just giving access to the digital thing. So you can open it and you can just kind of see it in like if it's a big block of text, it's going to be really hard to put it all on there because there's dozens and dozens of files, right? So that might be one option to look at. Also, I mean, there are each month's approved minutes for the committee are also, we send those now as well per council's directive. So you can go back to those minutes to see, but they're kind of, there's like a month delay on that because they only get approved at the next month's meeting. So.
Any other questions or comments from council? If not, thank you very much for coming in
Thank you.
tonight, Alex. Appreciate it. Enjoy the warm evening. I am going to go with the 7C next to the fire report. I'll go to Councilor Thompson on this.
For the month of May 2024, Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue had a total of 36 calls. This would compare to 51 in the month of May of 2023. Ward 2 has received their new fire truck. They are seen to be very happy with what they have, and thank you.
Okay, the fire report. I just wanted to say the fire department is not showing on this report, but as of the last week or two, the last couple of weeks, they've been very, very busy. So I want to take a big shout out to all the volunteer firefighters of Eastern Charlotte, and these guys have been going a lot of calls lately. I think 5 or 6 this past weekend. So I can't thank the volunteers enough. You have to remember, council, that these are volunteers and they work for us, and we're very lucky to have them. We thank them, and we also thank the families as well too, because every time that firefighter goes out, it's the families are left at home thinking about the firefighters. So I want to thank them as well too, and the other communities as well too. I know that in some of these fires we've had lately, the help from St. Andrews and St. Stephen Adjournment and all the outside areas, people pulling up and filling in the voids of when all our fire trucks are out. These guys are ready to, the other commuters are ready to help too, so I have to thank them as well too. Any other questions or comments on this report tonight? If not, we'll go on to next. I can put my glasses on. Public Works Report, Councillor McQuarrie.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to accept the report as written with a couple of exceptions. The 3-ton is working again. They went and picked it up, finally. It's only been, what, 6 months? And I'd like to thank both work crews for helping out 2 weeks ago out at the memorial. They helped set up the tent and tear things down, and they did a real good job, and they were, I think they were supposed to go out today and water it. I don't know if they made it or not, but anyways, I'd like to thank them guys. They did a great job out there and saved me a lot of work. So, that's it.
Councillor McQuarrie, question or comment on the report? Now we'll move ahead. We'll go to the Parks and Recreation report, and I'll go to Councillor Hatt on this.
So Parks and Rec, prepared by Drew Dugan. Arena's shut down, had some contractors in, looking at some quotes on some work to be done inside there. Repaired and painted the walls that were exposed, removed some ads, installed a new Eastern Charlotte ad on the boards. New dehumidifier has been installed by Simco. Wiring is complete. Just need to figure out, I believe, the ductwork. And that's quoted now, so should be a matter of time. Fire marshal was in, made some suggestions. So they've been working on them action items and some house cleaning underneath the bleachers, sourcing additional fire extinguishers for the facility. Obviously, that came from the fire marshal. Scheduled sprinkler alarm systems inspections. Also hosted Grand March ceremony this year, so they've done some preparations for that. Canal Beach repairs were done on the water system and the new building and canteen. Cleaning supplies ordered to have stock and ready for open. Swing set framework's been painted. Installed some new swings. Waiting on 2 more to arrive. Mowing and cleaning done for opening day. The stone stairwell, if anybody's been there, it's washed out really bad. Became a safety hazard after the winter months, so that kind of got repaired and modified this year. I think now the repair's done permanently, isn't it, Jason? So with concrete. So the Moby mat is now to be put in. The buoys for the swim area still to be put in. So obviously with the weather like today, we'll got to get that done. So playgrounds have been inspected and been painted. They had a ride out here that was broken, it's damaged beyond, and now had to be removed permanently. So anyway, it's been there for quite some time that I can remember, that spring ride. So basketball courts, the new nets install is being delayed, pending on a decision from, I guess, our committee here to decide what to do around the fencing. We've had a user group come forward and say about the courts, about removing the fencing around it. Myself, I think it's a great idea. Also, the design of the new nets, the fencing would have to be modified anyway. So anyway, it's always nice when user groups come forward with new ideas. Splash pad, we've talked about that. So anyway, that's running, and that's the report that's prepared.
Thank you, Councillor Hatt. I just want to expand a little bit more on the Parks and Recreation report. It probably will show up next month as well anyway, but the arena in Black Harbor, it looked fantastic last night for the Grand March for the high school, so I can't thank Drew Dugan and his crew for making sure that arena is looking the very best, and that arena belongs to everybody in Eastern Charlotte, and I'm glad that a lot of people were there last night to be able to enjoy that building and to have that fantastic ceremony there last night in Black Harbor. So again, thank you to Drew Dugan and his crew to making sure that place is ready. I know that they had to make sure the doors are unlocked on the weekends and make sure it was properly decorated, and it looks really, really nice. So any other questions or comments from this report? None? If not, we'll move ahead with committee reports, and I'm going to go to Councillor Tidd first on his report.
I would submit the report on behalf of the Personnel Committee to Council as written. I would further move that Council receive the report submitted by the Personnel Committee and act per the recommendation therein.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor. Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? And that motion is unanimous. Thank you. Any other committee reports? Councillor Hatt.
Yes, Your Worship. So last night when you drive through Blacks Harbor, it was lined up from the old playground the whole way to where the old turn used to be for the old Keith's Building Supplies. So that was great to see. Parking lot full. It's great to see that building like a beehive. So good evening, everyone. And I guess tomorrow would be the official first day of summer, but I think this week summer's actually hit. Work's ongoing with the Parks and Rec, as you heard in the last report, the ball fields being maintained daily, and as we see tonight here, the parking lot's full again, so ball's definitely ramped up and the fields are being used. Canal Beach and the splash pad opened up June 1st. We did have a small issue with the splash pad for a couple days to shut down and wait for parts. I know that there was some comments put out, and thank you very much for reporting it. We don't know if it's broke if no one reports it, so I appreciate that, and I want to say thank you to Chris for filling in that weekend and making sure we got Public Works here to get it reset for everybody to use. So that's the good. The bad vandalism happened at the washrooms at Canal Beach. Therefore, the washrooms will only be open when the canteen is open. I'm being told by the operator that the canteen will be open Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The installation of the swim buoys will come up, and so won't the Moby map, as talked about in the last report. If you're driving around St. George area in Eastern Charlotte, you will see that the flower pots look beautiful that have been placed out through Eastern Charlotte for the summer. And I want to say thank you to the volunteers that have done that. Also want to mention the RCAF 100 monuments. I had the pleasure of attending the service at Penfield Airstrip on June 7th. I do encourage everyone who has not seen the monuments to go out and reflect on the grounds and the beautiful monuments that are there, and just reflect internally on imagine of having to give up your most critical thing, and that is life, for sacrifice of our peace. Last night was a grand march held in the Blacks Harbor Patrick Connors Recreation Complex. There were some sharp-looking grads there. Tomorrow evening is the graduation at Fundy Middle High School. I want to say congratulations on the 2024 grads. We are proud of you. I can't believe that 24 years ago I walked out through that same area, and look where we are today. Be safe and make sure that you have fun as much as you can, but make sure that you make it home safe. That's the only way that this continues and everybody can have a good grad class. In a little over a week, we will be celebrating Canada Day. The municipality, Eastern Charlotte, will be hosting a flag raising at 8:30 a.m., followed by breakfast prep by the Eastern Charlotte Community Kitchen, happening right here at McAdavid Center. Hope to see lots of people in attendance for that great breakfast. I will finish up with a couple of reminders. Summer Concert Series is beginning July 4th. The list of performers is available on our Parks and Rec Facebook page and Eastern Charlotte website as well. July 18th to 21st is the Summerfest here in St. George. The brochures and events are available after Canada Day, so you'll see that being posted on Facebook and website as well and being put around the community. So that's everything, Your Worship.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Hatt. Any questions or comments on that? His report's always a lot going on, so hopefully people take notes on those. Okay, I'll move on along to financial statement, and I'm looking for a motion that council accept the financial report for May 2024. Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Lee. Thank you. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, old business, we have none tonight. 9A is, we do have business. 9A is bylaw number EC-12, the building bylaw. I'd be looking for a motion for council. I'm going to go to Jason on that.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we did, since last month, we, with the help of staff from the Regional Service Commission, there was a policy, an accompanying policy for this building bylaw that has been drafted. So I believe that did go to council. So I guess, at this point, either council can entertain to make the motion to do third and final reading, or we can push this ahead to July, give council some time to review both the bylaw and the policy.
So at this point, I'll entertain a motion. Counselor Hat, you're.
I move that council table the proposed bylaw, EC12 building bylaw, until July regular council meeting, July 17th.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder, Counselor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor, Counselor Delegations.
So for the permit, are we going to be posting this on the website?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, we're going to go to number 10, which is next, and this is new business tonight, and 10A is the St. George Capital Fund allocation for 2024. Maybe I'll go to Councilor Delegations. Maybe you'd like to make a motion on this tonight.
Yes. Okay, so I move that council approve the use of $59,000 of the amount budgeted for 2024 under the St. George tax unit for general capital fund land to fund the following: crosswalk improvements, so this is just outside Fundy Middle and High School, $20,000. Tree removal, corner of Latede and Mount Pleasant, $5,000. Mower for St. George Public Works, $20,000. Crosswalk island, which would be on the corner of Latede Road and Mount Pleasant Road, $14,000.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor? Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. We'll go to 10B, which is the surplus properties and assets. Would Councilor Thompson like to make a motion for that tonight?
I move that council declare the surplus and advise of a tender for the following: a 1991 GMC fire truck C7500.
Great. We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. We'll get Councilor Leaf. It was first, just by a hair. Question or comment on the motion? I'm going to go to Jason first. How's the comment?
Thank you, Your Worship. So just so residents are aware that that 1991 truck came out of the Back Bay Fire Hall, formerly Fundy Bay Fire.
Great. Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 10C is the Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership, PMHP, Route 176, Black Sabre. Council, what's your pleasure on this?
I'll make the motion.
Jason was going to go first. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Worship. So previously, the Village of Black Sabre was approved. It's through its provincial municipal highway plan, I guess formerly as a municipal designated highway plan. They were approved to do some reconstruction of the roadway on Route 176 coming into Black Sabre, actually in Black Sabre. So there's a portion that was approved in 2022, I believe, with the Village of Black Sabre, and this would be a portion from the power substation to the Grand End Ferry Terminal. So there's that section that was approved. I guess it's now become staff recommendations with help with CBCL that we'd move that onto a different portion of 176, and that would be sort of known as the farm stretch, just as you around the old where the former potato house was. Finishing that off to the top of the knoll, just entering the village. There's a large culvert that's been a big issue, and it would not only impact the people that are going to Grand End, but also the other residents of Black Sabre and the economics with the processing plant in Black Sabre as well. So that's sort of been the recommendations. What we would do with council's support on this would be write a letter to the province and say that we want to relocate this work. It's still on 176. I don't think it'd be much of an issue with the province. We're not changing locations or anything like that. Utilizing it for that portion, which as of right now is estimated to be less than the portion going to the ferry land, and with whatever we have left over at that point is to address to push that a little bit further along at the ferry landing section. So that would be the recommendations of staff.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Councilor Hat, would you like to make a motion on this tonight?
Sure. I move that council submit the request to Department of Transportation and Infrastructure to change the project location for the provincial municipal highway plan from 1 kilometer of Route 176 at the southern end to 600 meters of Route 176 further north, as in the summary presented to council, and that any remaining funds as a result of changing locations be directed towards a point of the original project area.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Hat. I need a seconder by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 10, yep.
Your Worship, just if
Yep.
I can, with the municipal designated highway program, that program is still a part of any of the former municipalities, the village, Blacks Harbor, the town of St. George. So this council, priority number one, still remaining with a portion of the road heading from I guess the Lateet Road, the old Lateet Road, Fundy Bay Drive to the old town limits. That was sort of the Back Bay Road is still considered a priority with this. So we've yet to hear back from the province on the status of the upcoming provincial municipal highway program. So, but that still remains the priority of council. And finish this off in Blacks Harbor. That would take in most of the scope that we would have within that program.
Great, thank you, Jason. That brings us to next to 10D, the Emergency Management Plan. Would you like to speak on that one, Jason?
Yeah, I guess chatting with some council members, some may have received this. I'm not sure how many have received it in email. Okay, so we did notice that. I know some received a hard copy, I believe, and others have not received this. So there is a drafted plan. We will get that out to council. We do have Tony Munn here tonight in support of that. We'll certainly maybe get Tony to come back or add some different comments to that. But there has been, through Tony's work and with staff, we've put together this plan that would look at all of Eastern Charlotte as its municipal EMO plan, and kind of updated it from the former town of St. George plan, built off of that. And Tony's put a lot of time and put it in place for updating this plan. So previously thought it was all sent out. We thought it might have gone out by email. It's a big document, but there was some paper copies, and that was really all it was sent. So we'll send that out tomorrow morning to the rest of council and put this back on for approval for the July meeting.
Okay, council, at this point, I'll entertain a motion.
For
approval. Is for, the motion would be to
Table it till July.
table this until July. And Councilor Lee, would you like to make that motion?
I move that council table the proposed emergency management plan until the July regular meeting of council to allow council and stakeholders to review, discuss, and make any changes.
Great, thank you, Councilor Lee. I need a seconder for that. Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on the question? On the motion, I'm sorry? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And that's passed unanimously. That brings us to 10E, which is the bylaw Z.2.4. I'm going to go to Jason here, amending the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor. I'm going to go to Jason to give a little background on this one.
Thank you, Worship. So this would be, maybe we can bring, I think Alex Henderson is here still with us and give us a little bit of updates on bylaw amendments to, bylaw amendment Z.2.4, amendment to the rural plan.
Great, thank you for staying around.
No
I told you to go home and enjoy the evening. I'm glad you stayed.
I saw the agenda, so. This is what's called a general text amendment. So I think we introduced this concept here to council a couple months ago, but it was busy. It's been a busy agenda for council for the last little while. So to refresh, this is a bylaw amendment that would affect the commercial zone in the Village of Blacks Harbor rural plan. And basically how it works right now is if you're in that zone, you have to do a commercial use as part of a development of property. And so the problem with that, there's at least 15 lots in that zone right now that are just residential. And so when one of these properties looks to do an addition or do some sort of change, they have to conform with zoning, and we can't issue those permits. So that's created a challenge here. So the way it could be fixed, there's a couple options council could look at. They could downzone the properties to R1 or R2. But in the report, I kind of outlined a few reasons why we might not want to do that. Basically, that would be considered downzoning, and so they would lose some of their development rights to do commercial in the future should they want to. Also, if you downzone to those residential zones per the current plan, some of those properties then would become non-conforming with those new zones, because those zones have certain lot area requirements, and in the village center, some of the lots are pretty tight. So one of the solutions we're thinking here is when you look at the policy that the village council had for the village center back in the original rural plan in 2011, it was to promote a mixed-use village center with residential and commercial. But the way they did it is the only time you can do residential is if you do it above like a shop, 2 units max. And that doesn't really reflect actually how Blacks Harbor's developed in the village center. So what we're suggesting you might do to make a fix is to allow these properties to have residential only, and have a setback like it is now. But if they want to develop the front yard for a commercial purpose, they could go up to the street line for a commercial purpose. And that way you create that sort of traditional village center feel to the zone, and also would allow those residential only properties to get permits to change and do additions, or even increase the number of units. So if they wanted to put in some rental suites, or they wanted to make a multifamily dwelling on the property, this text amendment as proposed could allow that. So the idea would be to actually increase the flexibility for that zone, as opposed to reduce the flexibility of the zone. And yeah, so the text amendment I kind of outlined is, it's a little bit odd in the way it's worded, but it's just how that rural plan was constructed. But basically, if you're in that first 10 meters from the street line, then you couldn't do a residential development right at the street line. You'd have to reserve that for a future commercial expansion. And that's actually quite similar to how the U4 zone works for the St. George Town zoning bylaw. So kind of some harmonious sort of thing going on there between the two municipal centers. Yeah, with that, I think that kind of summarizes it. If there's any questions.
Yeah, any questions for Alex while he's here? Before I entertain a motion? Yeah,
I
Jason.
guess, Your Worship, so we would be looking for a first reading by title only of bylaw number Z.2.4, and that's the amendment to bylaw Z.2, the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor. And we do first reading and even doing a second reading, but we'd also be doing a request of review of pracs on this and a schedule of public hearing, all to do with this amendment.
Great. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion from council. Councillor Lee.
I move that council accept the first reading by title only of bylaw number Z.24, amending the royal plan for the village of Blacks Harbor.
Great. Thank you very much, Councillor Lee. I need a second for that, Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I declare that the first reading by title only of bylaw number Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for Blacks Harbor. Okay, the second item on here we have is 10E, second reading in its entirety. I'm going to go Jason first.
Thank you, Worship. So this would be bylaw number Z.2.4, an amendment to the bylaw number Z.2 being the rural plan of the village of Blacks Harbor. So this would be a title entirely, and this would, as we know, release the draft amendment to be posted on the website or for pickup at the municipal office.
Great. So I'll entertain a motion from council at this point. Councillor.
I move that council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw number Z.24, amending the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Lee. And seconder is Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I declare that the second reading of bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for Blacks Harbor. 10E requests for views. We have to have a motion for the views of the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee, which is PRAC. Jason, did you want to speak on that one as well?
Yep, so we'd be sending this to PRAC to request their views on this, the amendment of Z.2.4, the amendment of Z.2, the rural plan for Village of Blacks Harbor.
Great. So I need a motion for that. Councillor Lee?
I move that council request the written views of the PRAC regarding proposed bylaw number Z.25, amending the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor.
Great. Thank you very much, Councillor Lee. Seconded by Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 10, EIV, schedule a public hearing. This is the next step. I'll be looking for a motion to set up a public meeting. Did you want to speak on this one, Jason? Or?
Thank you, Worship. So this would be a public hearing, just looking at the date that we were looking at.
He has an idea of July 10th on there, but that's up to council if they want to change that to the...
July 10th, yeah. So it'll be July 10th for, we would tentatively hold something, I guess, with the Stella Maris Community Center in Black Arbor, since this amendment is dealing with the Black Arbor.
So at this point, I'll entertain a motion for that. Councilor Lee?
I move that council schedule a public hearing of objections to bylaw number C24, amending the royal plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor on Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. to be held at the Stella Maris Community Center in Blacks Harbor.
Great, we have a motion on the floor. It's seconded by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? Councilor Hatt?
I got a question,
Sure.
Your Worship, if you don't mind, I'd direct it to Alex.
Yep, absolutely.
Would that be enough time for PrAC to be able to meet and recommendations come back?
Okay, that's actually a very good question.
That's a pretty tight timeline.
It is. We are meeting tomorrow night, actually, in this building. I could bring it to their attention. We don't have like a minimum time frame to bring something like that to PrAC, where they're just giving a technical view.
Yeah, no, I know, I understand there's no rules, but just
one
time.
thing. One thing I could do is, if I introduce it tomorrow, give them to the 10th to discuss over email, because they can do that. The act allows them to kind of deliberate after the meeting and formulate a letter. Okay. So,
any other questions or comments on this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. So council, just make sure while you're there, just put that on your calendar for July 10th. I would suggest that night. Usually we meet on Tuesday nights. Maybe we'll make one night meeting and do everything on that Wednesday night. Just we'll do it in the beautiful Black Harbor that night instead of St. George. Sounds good? Good. Okay,
Yeah,
we moves
sure.
on to 10F. We're going to be amending the road plan for the Village of Black Harbor. Jason, you want to speak on this one?
Thank you, Worship. So this is an amendment, or sort of a rezoning within Black Harbor. So current zoning of this property is a single two-family R1, and it's being requested to go to a single two and multifamily residential zone R2. So it would be amendment to the bylaw Z.2, the rural plan for the Village of Black Harbor. And just for those that are wondering where this relocation is, this would be a portion of the former old hospital in Black Harbor, which is going to be, that's sort of some of the holdup of some of the development that they're looking to do, and to move ahead with some apartments there.
Great. What I'll do, I'll entertain a motion, and if you have any questions for Alex, we can do that as well too. So I'll entertain a motion first on this. Councilor Lee, would you like to end? Prodding here.
I move the council accept the first reading by title only of bylaw number Z25, amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilor Tidd. Thank you. Question or comment on this motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I declare that the first reading by title only at bylaw number Z.2.5. 10FII, the second reading in its entirety. I'm looking for a motion for that tonight on the same thing. Councilor Lee.
I move the council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw number C25, amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor.
Great. Councilor Tidd, do you want to make a second of that? Great, thank you. Jason, did you want to speak on that?
Thank you, Worship. So this second reading, but in entirety, would release the amendment to the public for review. We've posted on our website, as well as copies at the Municipal Hall.
Great. Any questions or comments on this motion? None? No? Councilor Thompson.
Is that area zone commercial now, or is it residential?
Residential it's R2?
So it's currently it's R1.
Yeah, R1.
And the proposal would be to zone the one portion that's being converted into 6 units into R2.
Good. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. And I'll declare that the second reading of bylaw Z.2.5. 10 FII, request for views of the planning review and adjustment, which is PRAC. We need a motion to be able to ask for their views on this as well. Jason, do you want to speak on this as well?
Thank you, Worship. So we'll send this for request, this amendment, bylaw number Z.2.5, an amendment to the rural plan of the Village of Black Harbor. We'll send this to PRAC, request their reviews.
Great. And we actually have two members from our Eastern Charlotte on that PRAC, Skip Wolf and Raymond Hall on there as well. So I will entertain a motion to send this off to PRAC tonight. I need a motion for that. Councilor Lee, thank you.
I move that council request the written views of the PRAC regarding proposed bylaw number C.25, amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor.
Great, we have a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Great, and that's passed unanimously. Next is the scheduling a public hearing on this as well. I need, Jason, did you want to speak on this public hearing?
Thank you, Worship. So we'll basically use the same public hearing date of July the 10th at 6:30 at Stella Maris Hall, since both of these amendments are dealing with properties within Blacks Harbor.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, I need a motion from council for this. Councilor Lee?
I move that council schedule a public hearing of objections to bylaw number C.25, amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor on Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. to be held at the Stella Maris Community Center in Blacks Harbor.
Great. And second by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that's passed unanimously. Turn the page here. That brings us to number 11, correspondence. We're making along here. Councilor Thompson, would you like to read that letter tonight? Yes.
The Round the Loop Group is looking for funding from council, which we received in 2023, and is understand that there's a $1,250 donation again this year. We have completed the back bay sign and need to fill the planter with shrubs and soil and mulch. Flags are going up around the community. We are still beautifying our community, and at present we want to complete our project at the corner and clean up the area. We have quite a few items on our list, and we still want to revive our communities: Back Bay, Caithness, Latang, Lateet, Mascarene, and Caithness. Thank you.
Great. We have a letter read by Councilor Thompson from around the Loop Group. At this point, I'll entertain a motion.
I can, if I can,
Yeah,
Your Worship.
yeah, go ahead.
So this is budgeted funds that we had from 2023. We carried over much of the same budgeting for this, so there is funds that are in there for the Around the Loop group. I think last year was $1,250.
Good. So I'll entertain a motion at this point. Councilor Thompson, would you like to make a motion?
I move that council make a donation of $1,250 to the Around the Loop Group.
Great. We have a motion on the floor. We need a seconder, Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? Yeah, Councilor Dick.
In regards, I guess it's for CEO, in regards to the budgeted, that's budgeted for that subunit,
That's correct, yeah, that was.
so, yeah, okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to, folks, tonight to number 12, and this is my favorite part of the evening, the public presentation appearances. And under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdictions. So just remind anybody using the mic tonight, this is not a question and answer time, but your opportunity to get up and speak. So you, not everybody at once. Just take one at a time. Councilor Rubin, or Sam, sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sam Rubin, St. George, 33 Mount Pleasant Road.
Yeah.
I was going to speak a little bit about EC-12 bylaw. It means you haven't passed it, but I have read the draft copy, and it seems to address the concerns that the public had showed here on one previous meeting. It was about the best as you could do. Therefore, EC11, the peddler's bylaw, they're very good peddlers. And there's a section in there, and it's 7-1, it's the signage on utility poles. It's not allowed. There's no signage allowed on traffic signage poles. Take a little drive around, needs to be addressed. The one that the community had, that has been fixed. I will say that looks pretty good where it is. Other than that, it's not a whole lot. I'm pleased you announced tonight about the crosswalk up in the high school area, Fundy Middle High School. The school's been there for 47 years. The sidewalk's been there for 32 years and is long due for an upgrade of what you're going to do there, and it's in the safety of the students. It's long overdue. $20,000 is a small price for putting something in there, and you might even have to go a little more. My suggestion would be the other two systems we have are maybe a little light for that area for a couple of reasons. The high volume of traffic's one thing. The width of the road is another item. The flat area in between the hill coming down and going up for sunlight in the morning in your eyes and at night, vice versa. A little more powerful light system might be something to consider there. You know, there's only been, to my knowledge, in that period of time, one incident. So the area's, you know, fairly safe, but the volume of traffic is a lot of traffic there to what there used to be. Pleased to see you're moving on with that. That is well needed. Thank you very much for your time. I always appreciate the opportunity to speak. Is that okay, Wayne? Okay.
Thank you very much, Sam. I'm going to just wait for somebody else to come forward. Here we go. Excellent. Thank you, Sam, for getting this started tonight. That's excellent. Thank you.
Paul Elam, 915 Mass Green Road, Caithness.
Yeah, welcome.
I've got three proposals for council. Proposal number one, I call Basin View Avenue. I'd like the council to consider renaming the street that runs from McLean's Corner, Fundy Bay Drive, to Chapel Corner, Riverview Avenue, to be called Basin View Avenue. Basin View being spelled as one word to match Riverview Avenue. Having a river basin in the town is quite unique and unusual, and something that we should draw attention to in regards to tourism, much like we do Gorge, the Falls, and the Fish Ladder. My second proposal is that in the future, if we should be looking at traffic circles over traffic lights and stop signs. I'd like the council to consider adopting a rule where changes are to be made to traffic intersections. We examine the feasibility of a traffic circle over traffic lights and over stop and yield signs. Traffic lights are expensive to purchase and they're expensive to operate. They should always be the last option. Intersections where traffic meets at right angles are far more dangerous than traffic circles by their very nature. Accidents at intersections tend to be where one vehicle T-bones another. Accidents at traffic circles tend to be where one vehicle hits another at a glancing blow. Glancing blow accidents tend to lead to less death, less serious injuries, and less damage to vehicles. I've heard it said that some member of our community would never understand the rules of a traffic circle, leading to more accidents. Of course, that's not true. The town pump is a traffic circle, and it's been around. The traffic circle in front of the post office has been there since the post office. We don't have an issue with that, so I think we can deal with traffic circles. One of the prime locations, I think, is Back Bay Corner. That easily could be made into a traffic circle. Traffic circles don't have to be huge, monstrous things like they build in Fredericton and stuff like that. They can be very small. Normally in places in Europe, they actually have a little metal disc in the middle of the road that if you run over that, you get fined. But if you, unless you're like an 18-wheeler or whatever, that you can't make the corner. But everyone goes around this tiny little metal disc. So they're not expensive to create a traffic circle. Proposal number 3 is called Dark Sky Bylaw. I'd like the council to consider adopting bylaw called Dark Sky. Before the amalgamation, the people of Caithness and Mass Green had several meetings, and one of the items that we all agreed upon that we would have no streetlights in our communities. We would like a bylaw that restricts any lighting after 10 p.m. apart from Christmas lights from December 1st to January 15th, for example. We'd also like the bylaw for a separate bylaw for the former towns. Street lights should be turned off at 10 p.m., as should lights inside businesses. Studies have shown there is no correlation between break-ins with the presence of interior or exterior lighting. All external lighting should be made to be downward aiming with a shield to prevent it from shining in an upward or outward direction. So I do have more information on that in regards to the lighting, if anyone's interested in that, so.
I know it's not question and answer time, but I was busy trying to write down everything. You said the dark sky policy. What area of the Eastern Shore did you say you want that for?
Well, you have, a lot of places you have two different policies. You have a policy for rural areas where there's no street lights.
Right.
And no lights allowed at 10, and you have others for in town, where you actually have to say that businesses have to turn their lights off at a certain time.
Okay.
There's quite a number of cities in Canada already that have implemented dark sky. I lived in Windsor, Ontario, and the city of Leamington has dark sky policy. You're not allowed to have any lights on after 10 p.m. London, Ontario has implemented theirs. It's normally a 5-year plan where they implement it. And Guelph is in the process right now of doing that. So they will have all of their lights out by 10 p.m. So, and as I said, they've already shown in those cities, crime does not increase. Break and enter happens during the day in houses and during the night at businesses. Having your lights on has no effect on that.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm interested in this is living in Caithness, as the businesses start growing, more and more businesses on Fundy Bay Drive, we can see the glow down in Caithness, and it's cutting down, it's light pollution. We can't see the stars as well as we used to. So we'd like to be able to cut that back. And it'd be something we'd have to look at phasing in. A lot of places also have, they call it university campus lighting, where all lighting has to face down. You can't have lights showing on your building, glowing, that sort of thing. So there's already a lot of cities that we could look at that already have these bylaws, so we wouldn't be starting from scratch.
Okay. No.
Yep.
Yeah, no use reinventing the wheel. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great stuff for food for thought for a lot of it. Anybody else like to come forward tonight? Yes, come right ahead. Don't be shy.
Well, first off, I'd just like to wonder why. I was looking around town, and quite often, all that's being mowed is whatever you can get mowed on the sit-on. They don't seem to want to get off and do the whippersnipping around some of the things, and where I first noticed that was right across from Pete's. Get nice mowed, and then all around everything you got there, including the seats, is that high. So that's one thing. Now the next thing I was wondering about, you shifted the town speed limit down to 45, then you switched it to 35, and everybody's driving 65. So I was wondering if we could get it put back up. Because where I got to come out there, you're just taking your life in your hands. But the next thing, I don't know if the town has anything to do with it or not, is the graveyard. It's a disgrace. It's unreal. I mean, the grass up there is long enough you could put a flock of sheep in there. And that's about all I got to say right now, but I'll come up with something later on.
Great.
All right, and I'll keep picking at you.
No, that's what we're
All
here
right.
for. Thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it. No, that's what we're here for. Yes, I knew you were itching to get up there. Go right ahead. I just need your name and civic address, and you go right ahead.
A friend of mine wanted to know how come they couldn't have benches on that rocking path, because seniors cannot walk the path without sitting down. and we're wondering, she probably called one of yous, but I don't know who it was, you, then you're the one that got to talk about it. Anyways, I like my power on after 10.
There you go. Thank you very much. Anybody else like to come forward tonight? Thank you. This is fun. Yeah.
The speed limit in Beaver Harbor, I think, is 60. I think that's what it is. My husband drives a transport truck, and he's trying to back into my yard with all the lights on, everything going onto it. They're driving down that road, going almost into the ditch to pass him. I mean, that's a danger in itself. And I want to know what they can do. Put a signage up. He does all the lights. He got the lights are on the mirrors, I guess is what you call them. And there's been 2 that has gone down when he's backing into my driveway, because we made it bigger so he could bring the transport truck in. They'll come and go on the inside of him to get to Beaver. Now, that is a danger in itself. So I'm just wondering if there can be a signage or something to say, you know, the speed limit is this. I mean, they passed us the other day, just flying down Beaver. But I'm more worried about the transport truck, him backing in. I don't want to see anyone get killed. That is a danger, and I just want to bring that to you.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anybody else that would come forward tonight? No? Okay, this brings us to the next part of the evening, statements by members of council. On behalf of myself and councils, I send my deepest sympathy to the family of Heather Hatt. Jason, her son, is a battalion chief for the Eastern Charlotte Fire and Rescue Department out of Back Bay. Heather's heart was always on her community. She was the past president of the Harbor Light Seniors Association, co-chair of the Fundy Bay Local Service District, and as well a board member of the Southwest New Brunswick Regional Service Commission. On May 22nd, a piece of the heart of Heather's community was lost. My condolences to her sons, the battalion chief Jason Hatt and Justin Hatt. I'd like to congratulate all students graduating from the respective schools this week. And last, I would as well wish all students finishing up school this Friday a fun and safe summer vacation. Tonight, I want to wish a very happy 157th birthday to our country, Canada, who in less than 2 weeks will be celebrating this birthday. Want to send a huge thank you to Nancy and Robert Rayner for beautifying St. George by planting flowers in the pots and other areas around St. George, specifically around the post office, I believe, of St. George. We cannot thank you enough for your community service. Eastern, I think Councillor Hatt mentioned this, but I had a phone call before the meeting to make sure I mentioned it as well, but it doesn't hurt to mention things twice. The Canada Day breakfast is at 8:30 on July the 1st, being put on by the Eastern Charlotte Community Kitchen, and the folks at that breakfast, these folks right here at this table will be the ones serving. So if you want to come out and meet council that day on July 1st, this council will be there to serve, and you can talk to council at the same time. Next week is the by community meals. The next dinner is in memory of Susan Hill. So I just want to let people know about that. They've been serving a lot of people. I think the last meal they served 210 people. Yeah, that's all I have tonight. I'm going to go to the deputy mayor.
I have to make apologies to the Back Bay Fire Department crew. I was asked to bring up about a dedication plaque for the new truck for Heather, since she was so adamant and worked so hard for getting that. So for next council, I'll have a package ready just for us to talk about.
Good. Councillor Thompson. Oh, nothing. I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to talk. I'd like to have it. Councillor Hatt, sorry.
Your worship, if I don't mind, if I got a question for Jason.
Yeah, go.
Where the town pump is in St. George, where the fountain is, where all the beautiful flowers are all at now. I'd ask that maybe get Public Works to look at that. The curb and walkways are getting broke up really, really bad, and somebody's going to have a safety concern of rolling an ankle or breaking an ankle, even if they could get filled in with something for the season until we get a plan.
Just at the plaza itself?
Yeah,
or-
right where
okay.
before you cross the road and where that fountain piece is there, if you look, it's broke up pretty bad from the winter, spring
Yeah.
thaw, so.
Yep.
Councillor Dedireckas.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to thank Andrea Anderson Mason, who has been our MLA since 2018, for her tireless work over the past few years, serving a riding as diverse as ours. Now, I never say that we've always met eye to eye, but I wouldn't expect that from anyone. I don't care much for lip service anyway. Tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. No sugarcoating. I prefer people to be real with me, so I can be real with them. I don't doubt that being the representative for our large riding doesn't come with more challenges than one would want, but I can't help but admire many aspects of her leadership. While many politicians play it safe by posting pictures at the latest function or birthday party, she would share posts that were thoughtful or informative, things that made you think, even if you didn't agree. Childcare, recreation, teachers, and education were some of the needs that Ms. Anderson Mason pushed and advocated for, and she did so proudly. She did so with Eastern Charlotte in mind. I thank her for her work, and I wish her well in her next adventure. And then secondly, and something in line with what Councillor Hatt had said in his committee report, I'd like to remind everyone to take care of our public spaces. There's no reason to leave trash on the beaches or smash bottles in parking lots. There's no need to willfully ruin anything meant for the enjoyment of all of us. I don't want to see broken glass on the beach, if not for me, then for the kids that use it. We have a lot of beautiful spaces here, and we should keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor McQuarrie. Councillor Lee.
First, I'd like to respond to something that Ernest was saying there about that intersection in St. George. You're not the first person to bring that up, Ernest. We know there's an issue there with that, and we've been trying to come up with a way to mitigate the risks there. We've been talking about this for a couple of months now, so we will come up with something to try to make it better. The other thing is, if any of you have drove up Riverview Avenue over the last couple of years, you would have passed through the construction area where we have been trying to fix the water lines up that have been breaking there. For different reasons, over the last couple of years, there's been delays that have caused this work to last a lot longer than what it should have or what we would have liked to have. And some of the local residents have had problems or issues because of this. The good news is the water lines are repaired, and I noticed today that we're getting the sidewalk stuff done too. But in an effort to stay focused on this, I'm making a motion to have the water line project in Riverview Avenue completed in full, including paving by July the 31st of this year.
Okay, at this point, this is an item that's not on the agenda tonight, but I would need a motion from council to add this to the agenda tonight, and so I'll entertain a motion for that. Councillor Thompson, and seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor. Great. Question or comment to add this item to the agenda tonight? All those in favor of adding this item to the agenda tonight signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, Councillor Lee, I'll get you to read that motion one more time, and then I'll look for a seconder for that motion.
Okay, the motion is to have the water line project on Riverview Avenue completed in full, including paving by July 31st of this year.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Second, Councillor Dedireckas. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dedireckas.
I'm definitely in support of this. This has been long overdue. It's been in the works for about 2 years. So yeah, anything to really accelerate the process.
Any other questions or comments on this motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Councillor Lee. Anything else? I didn't want to shut. Yeah.
No, not at this time. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Tidd.
Thank you, Your Worship. Not that much. Just like to thank the Public Works crew here in St. George for placing a couple picnic tables along the beach road in Beaver. It's been greatly appreciated by the residents. I've got many positive messages from the residents down there appreciating it. So, thanks.
Yep, thank you. I'll make one more statement tonight. As we are just over the halfway point of this council's mandate, I made the decision to change the membership of the committees of council. And these are not huge changes, but it's an opportunity for some of you to apply what you've learned from your other committees. And these are committees these committees will always report back to the full council with recommendations from items pertaining to those committees. As always, the full council will vote on all items being recommended. So in accordance to bylaw EC-110D, I'll announce the new membership tonight. And under finance tonight, this is for the public. Under finance, the new chair will be the deputy mayor. Deputy Mayor Hatt will be doing finance. Finance is probably one of the hardest, as Councillor Lee will tell you, it's one of the hardest committees of council. And I have great faith in you doing a great job. And Councillor Delegations and Councillor Tidd will be your other members of that committee. Public Works, the chair of that would be Councillor McQuarrie. Members of that would be Councillor Lee and Councillor Adam Hatt. Parks and Recreation, the chair of that would be Councillor Adam Hatt. Members would be Councillor Thompson and Councillor McKay. Public Safety, this is the one to do with policing, EMO, which is a good one tonight because we have the EMO study to go over for this next month, and the bylaw enforcement. Councillor Lee would take the chair of this. Members would be Councillor Tidd and Councillor McQuarrie. Fire Services will be the chairperson will be Councillor McKay, and the members of this would be Councillor Adam Hatt and Councillor Tidd. Personnel Committee, this is hiring and policies and union. The chair will be Councillor Tidd. Members will be Councillor Lee and Councillor Delegations. 7 would be the Administration Committee. This is legislation for bylaws, economic development, which is a huge item because economic development is probably one of our number one issues because it takes in housing. And the chair of this will be Councillor Thompson. You've done a great job with fire, and I have full faith you'll be able to do a great job with housing. Members of this will be Councillor McQuarrie and the Deputy Mayor, David Hatt. Health Services. This is a big one as well, and it's probably the most important one. I figure it's one of the most important because it falls under garbage collection. If you don't have your garbage picked up for a couple of days, I'll tell you how important that is. And the Service Commission is actually is doing a study on garbage collection, which is a big study. Which the Service Commission has asked Dylan to do. And also it takes in public health, takes in the clinic, and takes in cemeteries. The chair of this will be Councillor Delegations, along with Councillor McKay and Councillor Thompson. And as mayor, I will serve on all committees of council. So, that tonight, I'm just making those announcements. I'll make copies for councils so that each of you will have that. Next item tonight is date and location of the next regular meeting of council. That would be Wednesday, July the 17th at 7 p.m. And at this point, Councillor McKay is not here tonight, so I need a motion for adjournment from Councillor Tidd. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, folks.